Hi there, my name is Emily, and I'm a good friend of Rodney's. You know, your dad told me something really special. He wanted me to share some amazing stories with you today. He always speaks so highly of you and how you both have such bright minds and beautiful hearts. So I thought, why not go on a journey together? We'll talk about something super exciting, the power that lives inside of you. That's right, each of you has a magical power. But it's not like the magic you see in movies, it's real, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Are you ready? Let's begin. The Garden of Dreams. Imagine a beautiful garden where every flower blooms based on how much love and attention it gets. This garden is inside your mind, and it's filled with your thoughts, dreams, and feelings. Every time you focus on something good, your flowers grow. But when you worry or feel fear, sometimes weeds can sneak in. But don't worry, you have the tools to make your garden flourish again. Let me tell you a story about a little girl named Sarah. She was just like you, curious, full of dreams, but sometimes unsure of how to make those dreams come true. Sarah learned that her words, her thoughts, and her feelings could change everything around her. One day, she heard about a man named Neville Goddard who taught that imagination creates reality. So Sarah tried it out. She closed her eyes and imagined her perfect day at school. She saw herself making new friends, having fun in class, and feeling really confident. Guess what happened? The next day at school, everything she imagined started to happen. She realized that when she focused on what she wanted and truly believed it, life would bring it to her. The treasure hunt of faith. Now let's talk about a boy named Max. Max had a big dream. He wanted to build the fastest go-kart in his neighborhood. But every time he looked at the parts he had, he felt like it wasn't enough. One day, his dad introduced him to the teachings of Rohn, who said, "You become what you think about most of the time." Max took those words seriously. Instead of focusing on what he didn't have, he started to think about what he wanted. He would sit quietly, imagining himself racing down the street in his shiny new go-kart. He told himself, "I already have it, I just can't see it yet." And then, as if by magic, he started finding exactly what he needed. A neighbor gave him some spare wheels, and another friend shared his tools. Soon, Max was racing in the go-kart of his dreams, and he learned the lesson. When you have faith and focus on what you want, the universe will help you find the way. The Bridge of Belief. Let's dive into the story of Livia, a girl who wanted to sing in front of her whole school. But she was so scared. One night, her mum told her about a woman named Rhonda, who wrote The Secret. She said, "Livia, you don't have to know how it's going to happen. You just have to believe it already has. Act like it's done." Livia started imagining herself on stage, singing with a big smile, hearing the applause from the crowd. Every morning, she'd look in the mirror and say, "I'm a singer, and everyone loves my voice." Even when she was nervous, she focused on that belief. Soon, she got a chance to sing in front of her class, and it felt exactly like what she imagined. Livia learned that when you believe in yourself, the universe will give you opportunities to shine. The energy of joy. Do you know how powerful your feelings are? There was a boy named Jordan who loved learning about science, and one day he discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe teaches that the energy you give out is the energy you receive. If you feel joy, the universe will give you more things to feel joyful about. Jordan loved to laugh and have fun, but sometimes he felt like his homework was just too hard. So, he tried something new. Instead of feeling frustrated, he started to imagine his homework as a fun puzzle. He'd laugh whenever he solved a tricky problem. The more joy he felt, the easier everything became. He realized that when you choose to feel good, life gives you even more to feel good about. The invisible friend. Now, let me tell you about a very special friend we all have, Jesus. Jesus taught us something really important. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. This doesn't mean just real mountains, but the mountains of fear, doubt, or worry that sometimes get in the way of what we want. One day, a girl named Ella felt really lonely. She didn't have many friends at school and didn't know what to do. Her grandma told her about Jesus and how he's always there, even when you can't see him. So every night, Ella would talk to Jesus. She'd tell him how she wanted friends, how she wanted to feel happy at school. Slowly but surely, she started to notice kids smiling at her, inviting her to play, and soon she had more friends than she ever imagined. Jesus showed her that even when we feel alone, we're never truly by ourselves. Creating your own magic. All of these kids had one thing in common. They used their words, their minds, and their hearts to create their own reality. Whether it was Sarah imagining her perfect school day, Max building his go-kart, Livia believing in her singing, or Jordan choosing joy, each of them discovered their inner magic. But remember, this power isn't just for them, it's for you too. Your dad believes in you so much, and he knows you have the ability to create anything you want. Whether it's making new friends, doing well in school, or chasing your biggest dreams, it all starts with how you think, feel, and believe. The seed of imagination. Let's begin with a story about a girl named Chloe. Chloe was always daydreaming about adventures, flying like a superhero, or living in a magical castle. But at school, she struggled with math. One day, her teacher told her about a man named Albert Einstein, who said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Chloe thought about that and decided to use her imagination to help with her math problems. Instead of seeing numbers as just numbers, she imagined them as little creatures who needed help solving puzzles. Each math problem became an adventure, and soon enough, Chloe's grades began to soar. Chloe realized that her imagination wasn't just for fun, it could help her do anything she wanted. The balloon of joy. Next, let me tell you about Samuel, a boy who loved going to birthday parties. The thing he loved most about these parties was the balloons. He'd hold on to one, look up at the sky, and feel like he could float away. But Samuel sometimes felt sad when things didn't go his way. His mum shared with him something she learned from Abraham Hicks. She said, "Samuel, your joy is like a balloon. When you focus on what makes you happy, you lift yourself higher and higher." So whenever Samuel felt sad, he would imagine his balloon rising. He'd think about things that made him smile, like playing with his friends or drawing pictures. The more he focused on the happy thoughts, the higher his balloon would go, and soon he'd feel much better. Samuel learned that happiness is something he can create by choosing joyful thoughts. The mirror of self-love. Let's talk about Mia, a girl who didn't always feel confident. She often compared herself to others, thinking they were smarter or prettier than she was. One day, her older sister told her about a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza, who teaches that your thoughts create your reality. Mia's sister showed her a trick called mirror work. Every morning, Mia would stand in front of her mirror and say, "I am smart, I am beautiful, I am worthy." At first, it felt a little silly, but after a few days, something amazing happened. Mia started to believe those words. Her confidence grew, and soon she was trying new things, making more friends, and feeling really good about herself. Mia realized that how she spoke to herself was just as important as what others said about her. The game of gratitude. Now let me tell you about a boy named Ethan who loved video games. He could spend hours trying to beat levels and earn points. But sometimes, when things went wrong, like losing a game or breaking a toy, he'd feel really upset. His grandpa introduced him to the power of gratitude, a lesson from a woman named Rhonda Byrne, who wrote The Secret. She said, "When you focus on what you're grateful for, you get more things to be grateful for." Ethan decided to turn gratitude into a game. Every time something didn't go his way, he'd pause and think of 5 things he was thankful for. It could be anything: the sunshine, his favorite snack, or even his favorite toy. The more he played the gratitude game, the happier he felt, and soon, good things started happening more often. Ethan learned that by focusing on what he already had, he made room for even more blessings. The rainbow of belief. One day, a girl named Lily was feeling very nervous about her first dance recital. She practiced for weeks, but on the day of the performance, her nerves were getting the best of her. Her mother told her about a lesson from Neville Goddard. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Lily's mom said, instead of worrying, pretend it's already happened. Imagine yourself dancing perfectly and hearing the applause. So, Lily closed her eyes and pictured herself on stage, dancing beautifully under the lights, with everyone clapping. She felt the joy as if it had already happened. By the time she stepped on stage, her nerves were gone and her performance was amazing. Lily realized that when you believe in your success before it happens, the universe helps make it real. The River of Focus. Next, we have a story about a boy named Noah who loved going to the river with his family. He'd watch the water flow and skip rocks across the surface. One day, while at the river, Noah's dad told him about a man named Rohn, who said, "Where focus goes, energy flows." Noah didn't quite understand it at first, but his dad explained, "It's like the river. Wherever the water flows, that's where the energy of the river goes." Noah thought about it, and later, when he had a big school project, he decided to put all his focus on it, just like the river focuses its energy on flowing downstream. Instead of getting distracted, Noah stayed on course, and his project turned out amazing. He learned that when you focus on one thing, you give all your energy to it, and that's how you create something wonderful. The magic of kindness. Now let me share the story of Emma, a girl who discovered that kindness is a powerful form of magic. She noticed that when she smiled at people, they smiled back. One day, her teacher told her about Jesus and the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Emma decided to make kindness her mission. Every day she looked for ways to be kind, whether it was sharing her lunch with someone who forgot theirs or helping a friend with homework. The more kind things she did, the more kindness came back to her. Emma learned that when you treat others with love and care, the world gives that same love and care back to you. The Star of Dreams. Let's talk about Alex, a boy who loved stargazing. He'd look up at the sky every night, dreaming about exploring space one day. One night, his dad told him about a man named Dr. Wayne Dyer, who believed that you become what you think about. Alex decided to make a wish on a star, but instead of just wishing, he also began thinking about his dream every single day. He read books about space, watched documentaries, and even started building a small rocket with his dad. Alex's dream wasn't just a dream anymore, it became a part of his everyday life. Soon, he got the chance to visit a space center, and he knew that one day he'd get even closer to the stars. Alex learned that when you fill your mind with your dreams, they start to come true. The field of faith. Finally, let me tell you about a girl named Grace who wanted to win her school's big soccer game. But their team had never won before, and most of the kids didn't believe they could. Grace, however, had faith. She remembered a story her mum told her about a mustard seed and how even a little bit of faith can move mountains, as Jesus taught. Grace gathered her team and shared this story with them. She told them, "We only need a little faith to believe we can win." The team decided to believe, even though they'd never won before. They practiced harder and encouraged one another. On the day of the big game, they played like never before and won. Grace learned that faith, even in the smallest amount, can create big miracles. So, my dear friends, as you can see, the power inside you is real and ready to help you create the life you want. Whether it's using your imagination like Chloe, choosing joy like Samuel, loving yourself like Mia, or believing in yourself like Grace, every moment is an opportunity to use your magic. And remember, your dad Rodney believes in you so much. He knows you have everything it takes to live your best life. Now, it's your turn to believe in yourself and watch the magic unfold. So, as you go to sleep tonight, or maybe while you're playing tomorrow, think about all the wonderful things you want in your life. Imagine them, feel them, and trust that they're on their way. Like my friend Rodney says, you are amazing, powerful, and full of love. Never forget that the greatest power lives inside of you.